Hey guys, make sure you are subscribed to our channel and turn on notifications so you know all of our latest posts, and follow us on Twitter and TikTok to come chat some wrestling with us and see clips from our latest videos and podcasts. But now, let's get into the video. Yo, what's going on guys? C2 Wrestling back, another fantastic episode of WWE SmackDown. They're just rolling right now, Snowden. Every show is pretty much can't miss. And if you do miss it, this is a rare time where you have to go back and rewatch segments, the entire show. Every show is just hitting right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you introduce this video by saying that, because that's exactly what I was going to say, is that not only is NXT, SmackDown, Raw, everything must see right now, it is go back and watch if I miss it type stuff. I'm probably not supposed to be watching the Giovanni Vinci vignette while I'm driving home, but I have to see it, you know? So it's all very must see stuff. Got to go back and view what we don't catch, but it was a great episode of SmackDown. I'm looking forward to getting right into it tonight.
Yeah, the biggest two moments we got to talk about. First one being the long-awaited return of our tribal chief. You know what? But before we even get into it, let's throw the ones up.
I can't really back up. There we go.
fully lean back for it. Roman returns, goozles both Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, going for Solo, getting the upper hand. Solo gets out. All about the necklace, all about being the tribal chief. We expected, obviously, this is going to be the first feud. Interesting enough, they kind of had it where Roman struggled with the numbers a little bit, but not too much. I think they kind of did it pretty well to where Roman's going to need some help at some point, but he's able to take out these guys one-on-one, even two-on-one. This all without Jacob Fatu the entire episode. Cody mentioned him, but no mention from Solo. Roman didn't even cut a promo. That crowd, man, Rover, over like Rover is the only way to put it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Roman is as over as you can possibly get. It really is peak over. Showing up, kicking the crap out of Tongaloa, Tamatonga. No Fatu. They're holding off on that. We touched on that briefly in our previous videos, but it was great. I don't need them to interact yet, so holding out Fatu is fantastic. I wanted to see exactly what we saw tonight, and I wanted to just see Roman come out, kick some ass, send Tongaloa back to Japan, put Tama Tonga down, see some crazy stuff go down. I didn't expect a promo either. I really kind of thought we were going to get right into the action with Roman tonight, and we did exactly that. I want to hear your thoughts on Solo. Where are they going with him right now? What's the route? Where do you think they're going?
All right, we're getting Roman Solo, obviously.
For sure.
I'm sticking to my guns that I've said before. Solo's winning the first match.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I did like, even though Solo ends up, pandering, getting away, takes the necklace, gets out of harm's way after Roman started giving him the business. He didn't back down right away. And I like that. They very well could have had Roman take out the other two, and as soon as he got into the ring, Solo rolls out and denies him that first, chance to get down. He took the jacket off. He was ready to throw knuckles. I am down with that. Don't have him be fully afraid of Roman. At the end of the day, he's still a heel and has to do heel things and has to run away from the confrontation at some point. But don't make him look like a complete wimp where he just powers away instantly. So I like that. I thought that was actually, it might not get talked about a lot, but I thought that was actually a pretty big moment for Solo to have that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the very pro wrestling term to use here is you don't want Solo to look like a coward. You don't want him to cower away. Obviously, the overall storyline is Roman Reigns is the only tribal chief there ever was. Solo is this, as the signs are saying in the crowd, this Timu tribal chief, how do you get Solo over with the crowd? He's over with the crowd, but what's the next avenue to really get him over? I do agree with what you kind of said previously, where they really made it seem like Roman, he struggled a little bit with the numbers, but it wasn't too much from the handle. Again, there was no Fatu, so that will change things. But we're also, I don't want to get too in depth to people that aren't necessarily on TV yet, but there was another signee that we're kind of waiting on to see what comes next. Maybe Solo recruits another bloodline member, uh, and we get an even larger faction. I'm not really too sure where they're going, but Solo, Roman is obviously the path, like you said. Solo, I again agree, think it's that first victory. But I don't know if Solo ever even sees a title out of this. I really don't know the route they're going long run with him. It's kind of interesting to see, though. I'm looking forward to what's next. I just want more Roman, though, man. I just can't get enough right now. It's all so good.
So I think logically with Solo, what makes sense is kind of what we expected with Roman when Roman dropped the title. The what felt like the obvious booking was once Roman drops the title, he's going to basically go AWOL, kind of lose his mind, like, pulling his hair out essentially. I think we
Mm-hmm.
get that essentially with Solo. He beats Roman at first. Then in the end of this rivalry, Roman ends up beating Solo to be the true tribal chief. And that's where we get the twist in Solo where he feels lost. Like not bum ass Corbin level, but like he thought he truly was the tribal chief, had moments where he felt he was proven right, and then ends up losing, and now has to, find himself, has to take himself to the next level, has to kind of prove himself again. And I think that becomes a story in itself gradually over time because you mentioned it in our last video or two videos ago. He's still so new. He's still only a couple years into this thing.
3 years, not even 3 years.
Exactly. And granted, does it mean he skips over a US title run or a tag title run? Who knows? But he has so long in his career. That was terrible. He has
It's
so
terrible.
long in his career to go. So
Yeah.
to me, there's no rush at all. But Roman, the OTC chants,
Mm-hmm.
the we want Roman chants, the ones to the sky. This is probably the most over Roman has ever been, right?
Oh, by far the most over he's ever been. I can understand maybe comparing it with like peak heel Roman in the way a heel gets over with the amount of booze and stuff he gets. But man, it was nuclear, and this is just his like first return show of SmackDown. Wait until they put that guy in a title match again. He is, I like the only comparable is Cody. He's Cody level over. Cody is an level of over that has even surpassed somebody like Cena, in my opinion, at a point for like a sole period of time. Cena as a whole is one of the most over superstars ever. But like in one moment, Cody Mania 40 was so big. Roman's the only comparison to that was just how over he was even at this one show. Again, you were at SummerSlam, you've seen it live. I need more. I don't want them to overdo it. I don't want them to maybe have Roman every week come out and get crazily involved, but I don't want him once every 4 weeks though either. I want to keep it at like a happy medium. I'm really hoping they again hold off on Fatu involvement for a little bit. Maybe they ride out the storyline of him being injured or whatever they're going. But Roman, man, I just can't get over that crowd reaction tonight and how much pop he got just coming out when he was flipping the cover off the announce table, spearing Tama through the barricade. It was great to see, man. It was fantastic.
I believe he's announced for next week's SmackDown, and then one
Yes,
that's 3 weeks after that one.
that sounds about right.
I believe that's it. If I had to guess, next week's SmackDown, we get our first promo from him. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that would make sense. He's come back, he slapped them up. Now maybe he opens next week's SmackDown instead of closing, so he can have the promo because it feels like his first promo almost has to open the show just because you don't want it on a full-blown time constraint. Like
Correct.
you'll manage the rest of the show and cut time elsewhere because he's definitely going to go overtime. Very
Yes.
similar to when we
CM
were
Punk.
well, that and when it was the Mania build and Roman, Rock,
Mm,
Cody,
yes.
when they would close the show, it'd feel kind of rushed because that hard out by Fox, which, is a completely different story for a different day. But I would venture to guess that he opens next week and we get our first Roman promo. Now, I ask you, we
Hmm.
did not see Fatu.
Yeah.
We saw Roman for a moment struggle with the numbers, but in the end, get the upper hand once Solo didn't go back when it was 2-on-1 full blown. His promo next week, is that where Solo and the Bloodline 2.0 get the upper hand on him since he's not announced for the next 2-3 SmackDowns after that? Is that where they take him out for a few weeks and they get that false confidence? I told you this is my show. And then 2-3 weeks later, he comes back with a Jimmy or something.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Pretty much the same result, but in a few ways of doing it. I can see Roman cutting his promo next week and Solo popping up on screen, cutting a promo against him, maybe with the Bloodline in the background. Maybe Solo and the Bloodline aren't even on TV next week. It's just on the screen. Um, I could see Roman in the promo getting the crap kicked out of him. Maybe the Bloodline comes out and Fatu comes out, everybody, and maybe they pummel him to where he's off TV for a few more weeks. And like you said, the Bloodlines, we're on top again, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they're going to do, actually. I do think a Roman promo is in order, opening the show as well. You want that time. I referenced CM Punk. I believe it was his return promo, right? They put him at the end of the show and ran out of time.
Yeah.
It ended up getting a lot of hate online. Um, Maybe you even have Roman open the promo. Maybe he's on TV again later that night, and that's where the Bloodline comes out and gets him somehow. Who knows what's going to happen? Roman doesn't have any quote unquote friends in the locker room, so no one's going to be at his side quite yet. So it's really Roman versus all. It's going to be every time he's on TV, just does the Bloodline get him this week until whatever matchup we're getting soon. I want to see Fatu back, but I really want them to stay away. I want them to hold off for a bit.
There's so much time for this rivalry. If there's one thing the entire Bloodline story has taught us, that be patient. This is not
Mm-hmm.
going to be something where they are going to rush things, where they are going to not save a moment. It feels like there's still multiple big moments to come. We still have his first promo that we need. We still have his first acknowledge me, which is going to do crazy numbers. We still have Solo and Bloodline 2.0 getting the upper hand on him. And we still have an inevitable face off between him and Jacob Fatu, where they at some point put hands on each other. But this is only, I mean, we're what, 5, 6 days into this new story. It was just Saturday. So 6 days into this new story. We've got a long way to go. It does make me feel, though, that your prediction of the first matchup between Roman and Solo being at Bad Blood is the most likely because you're not gonna waste it for Berlin because Gunther's
Mm.
gonna main event anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Roman versus Solo, Bad Blood, absolutely is on that card. If you haven't seen our recent videos, go back and watch that. It's a match we discuss. In Berlin, you already have Gunther main eventing that card for sure. So, yeah, you can get Roman Solo on there, but it's kind of already a little crowded with what we also know is coming to Berlin. Bad Blood, again, blood feud, bloodline, makes sense. I honestly feel like this is really why they brought back Bad Blood as a whole. Not that they weren't going to do it anyways, but it just suits what they got going on right now. I feel like Triple H has been on record in the past saying things like Hell in a Cell, as an example, is for a blood feud. It really shouldn't be a gimmick pay per view. These pay per views have themes and stuff to them. Bad Blood suits the bill. I don't know where they go after that quite yet. I'm still kind of hoping to see these next few weeks and what goes down. But again, I think Solo goes over. I think that's what has to happen too.
So we had mentioned in previous videos how it's going to be interesting how they book having Roman and Solo feud and occupy Cody when technically both Roman and Solo, although they want to be tribal chief, they also both want to be WWE champion. On SmackDown, we got a ton of stuff, just like Raw, that moved stories forward, started new stories. We have Santos Escobar become the number one contender for the United States Championship. They're working on number one contenders for the tag titles, two eliminators. But what opened the show and then a few segments later became official, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the Universal Championship. We predicted before there was any reports, our gut said Kevin Owens is going to turn heel. Now, it didn't happen tonight. He was actually doing the opposite. He was being way too much Mr. Good Guy. Makes me feel we are getting the Kevin Owens heel turn at Bash in Berlin, maybe after Cody defeats him. But this to me seems like the most logical way to have all four of these guys in relevant stories and kind of split them away from each other a little bit with them being on the same show because you don't want that Cody Roman interaction yet. It's not time for that promo.
It is not time for that promo. And I do think this is a good way to hold them overall for a bit. Uh, I do think this is we can call it a little bit of a filler match. Like, I get it. Cody is very likely to retain the title. It's going to be a great matchup, though. Cody versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has to turn heel. He is fantastic. Better work is done as a heel. I want to see him heel again. Face run's getting a little bland to me. I do also very well see this kind of turning into Orton losing to Gunther retaining his title. Kevin Owens does turn heel, attacking Cody. Orton, RKO, the stable right now. Orton kind of questioning Owens, what the hell? Why'd you do that? And I can see Owens, the now heel Owens, almost slowly even kind of convincing Orton as to why he did it. And Orton starting to really think about it. And ultimately, we get the Orton heel turn leading into Orton Cody, setting up more potentially filler feuds to stretch out this Cody Roman altercation that, again, I don't think we've played yet.
We were talking about how many marquee matches they have lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Solo, which will probably be 2 to 3 matches.
Yeah.
That's coming soon. Cody, Roman, the trilogy. Maybe it's at Mania. Maybe it's at a different pay-per-view. That's coming at some point. Cody, The Rock is coming at some point. You would assume you're still going to get Roman, The Rock. We mentioned all of those, and we somehow, since we were so focused on Roman, that we didn't mention Cody, Randy, which is
Mm-hmm.
a
Money.
marquee, big time main event story that is multiple months long. Like, it writes itself. If it never happened, it would be one of the biggest blunders and the biggest why in the world did this not happen. This feels like, I know Owens Rhodes is kind of filler. We know the matches are going to be good. We know the promos
Mm-hmm.
are going to be good. We expect Rhodes to win, but this feels like maybe the last filler before multiple major stories continue.
Absolutely. I can argue that I would like to see Orton win the belt from Cody, a heel Orton going over Cody. Uh, it literally, as you said, writes itself. Orton, year and a half out, back injury, makes a crazy return, might never wrestle again, but somehow makes it back. The story writes itself. It would be the biggest blunder to not have this feud go down. And I did mention it, it's kind of filler maybe if you do lead it into this like November, December slot right before the Rumble, because Orton versus Cody could main event WrestleMania in its own right. That is, again, a couple month long feud that could really stretch out over time. So I don't want them to use it as filler, but I want to see it happen. I think Cody's a wrestler that's due for a multi-title runs before he actually retires. But I want to see it while it's hot. Orton is hot. Cody's hot. Orton, even though he's looking great, former injuries, prior injuries, who knows how long he really has. So you got to make it happen when you can. We've been saying it in a few videos we've done recently again, but strike while the iron's hot. I think it's good timing to do it. Again, help separate Bloodline, Roman, and Cody as well. You know, I think you got to keep them as separate as you can for a bit.
So my last question for you before we wrap things up here. You're going to have Cody Owens at Berlin, and you're probably not going to have Roman Solo just yet. That'll probably happen at Bad Blood, we're assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But Bad Blood is in Atlanta, so you know Cody is going to be on the card in some aspect.
Yeah.
I would assume Cody would then open the show and Roman closes. It feels like, again, it goes back to it's a good problem to have. They have so many marquee matches, they have so many popular matches, but it would feel weird Cody in his hometown as the champion not main eventing. It does feel weird.
It does feel a little weird. If you're not going to have him main event it, he's got to open it. That only makes sense. I think for like a WWE champion to not be main eventing in their hometown as the champion is unusual. But if it's ever going to happen to somebody, it almost makes the most sense for it to be Cody to me because Cody, again, is so damn over everywhere as his hometown to a degree. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he's so over everywhere. It's unbelievable. Like, he's going to get unreal pop and cheers in Atlanta. It's going to be crazy. But man, like, is it going to top Styles, Cody in France? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be crazy, but I think with the proper feud, a Roman Solo, you could have something like that main event over top of Cody. But maybe at Bad Blood, maybe you double up on Owens Cody. Maybe there's a rematch. And now it's a heel Owens after he turned on Cody. Maybe Orton's at Owens' side during that match. Maybe he's at both of their sides. Doesn't know who to kind of go for. And maybe we see the ultimate Randy heel turn at Bad Blood. Maybe that's what makes that match end the show. But Gunther, again, world champion, like he is in all right to main event the show. I know he's going to in Berlin too, but these guys are all just so over. Again, it's a great problem to have. There's so many people that you can just select to main event, and it's okay. It would all make sense.
To be fair, Cody did main event Backlash in Puerto Rico over Bad Bunny when he faced Brock.
That's true.
And and look, I love Cody, I love Brock. That crowd, we all know what the real main event was.
Yeah.
So sometimes,
Yeah.
although I love Cody and that's that's my quarterback. That's
Mm-hmm.
he's the reason why I've gone to so many shows this year.
Yeah.
Sometimes being in the main event doesn't make you the main event. Just like
Yeah.
being the champion doesn't make you the champ,
Yeah.
as weird as that
Mm-hmm.
sounds. So again, it's a great problem to have. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just, I'm like giddy thinking about
Yeah.
all of these potential matches. And like, I'm like impatient, but I'm patient at the same time. Like I want to wait, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen where, what match is going to be on what show.
Yeah, there's so much just great stuff going on right now. It really does have me giddy. That's the word. I just want to watch everything. There's so much wrestling between SmackDown, Raw, NXT, pay-per-views, NXT or PLEs, sorry, NXT PLEs, and then there's all these sideshows and stuff too. There's other companies, whatnot. There's so much wrestling, but I just want more. I just want more. On Sunday nights, I'm like, damn, there's no Sunday night show. This sucks. I want to see a match tonight. I'm looking forward to everything right now. There really is. There's not a single rivalry, anything they got going on in both shows that I'm not at least intrigued in. I have my ears out, my eyes are tuned into everything right now, and I'm looking forward to what's next.
What's intriguing and what's coming more is videos on this channel. If you haven't watched our past videos, our previous podcasts that just came out, go give those a watch. Give us a listen on Spotify or Apple. The more wrestling that comes, the more these videos are going to come. We're going to do our best to keep bringing out these videos. And if WWE is going to keep spoiling us, then we have no choice but to keep hopping on here and talking.
Yeah, and listen, I got no problem with it. I'm loving this so far. This is fun. We're enjoying this. We're having a lot of fun. I am thinking about this channel all day, every day. I want to come home and do this. Not only are there nights where I want to watch wrestling, there's nights where I want to watch wrestling because I want to talk about wrestling after. And we're going to keep doing that. Keep tuning in. Again, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Twitter, hit us with the like button, subscribe. I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
Acknowledge us.
Once to the sky.